Hello, and thanks for stopping by, because today's cooking lesson we're going to be making not French fries, not potato wedges, but organic potato wedges. Why organic? Well, when some foods are grown, they need a lot of pesticides and chemicals to keep the bugs away and to make the foods grow big and strong. But on the other hand, if they're grown without all those pesticides and chemicals, the foods are better for you. Why eat something that's been poisoned when you really don't have to? Even though it costs a little more, it's worth it for your health. For example, potatoes are one of the foods that they use a lot of chemicals and pesticides on. Same thing for strawberries, apples, peaches, blueberries, peppers. They're all heavily pesticided. So we're going to be making organic potatoes today, which are much healthier for you. If you'd like to learn more about this use of pesticides and what foods are okay to eat with being sprayed and what foods are better to eat organic, head over to your local computer and look up the Dirty Dozen foods and the Clean 15 foods. And that'll explain a little better about what foods are better to eat organic and what you can eat that have been sprayed with chemicals. Usually the ones that have been sprayed with chemicals and are okay to eat are foods that have thick skins where the chemicals don't penetrate into the food. But meanwhile, getting back to our lesson for today. Potato wedges, organic potato wedges. Whether it's been organic or not, the potatoes grow in the ground, so the first thing is you have to clean the dirt off the potatoes. You can't just rinse them, you have to scrub them. So that's the first thing we're going to do today. Water on and scrubbing the potatoes. Even though they're organic, you really don't want to eat any kind of food that has dirt on it. Unless you're into eating dirt, then that's another story. So for this little snack, we're going to take 3 potatoes. And usually russet potatoes are the best for making fries, or baking potatoes. So that's what we're using today. Okay, that's one down. And the way I'll be making them today, using the 3 potatoes, that'll give us about 24 wedges, which just about will fill up the cooking sheet, and it'll give us a nice little bowl full of nice potatoes. You can either do this by hand, or you can go out and get an actual potato scrubber, which makes it a little bit easier. But since I don't do this too often, I can do it by hand. really rubbing these things down because I don't want any dirt going inside me. Okay. Now that we have some clean potatoes, next thing we're going to do is get a clean sharp knife. And what I like to do before I slice them, I want to kind of cut out all the imperfections on them, or as many as I can. Because some of these things should be cut out. For example, this little chunk over here. That's a little better. I'm sure you could probably eat these and slice them up the way they make them, or the way they come out, but I want them to look, have not too many imperfections, so I cut them out. Just be careful that the knife goes into the potato and not your fingers. You'll always find some kind of imperfections in the potatoes, but I try to cut out the major ones anyway. You probably won't be able to cut every single one out, otherwise there'll be no potato left. Okay. See that? I don't want that, so I'm going to cut that out. That's a little better. Just start at one end and I just kind of twirl it around and go down little by little, see if there's anything major that I want to get rid of. And then I'll try starting from the other end. I'll cut out this stuff. And usually I don't have to slice it too deeply, but just thinly across the top area. And that usually gets it. And one more. Ugh, I don't like the look of this thing. See how it goes inside? So I want to cut that out. I don't want to eat this stuff, whatever it is. Okay, now that we've done all that, I'll put this stuff down the drain. Now, we're going to slice up the potatoes. So, first thing we have to do is cut them in half. Okay. Now when we have the half a potato, when we have this thing, we'll cut this in half. Now when we have these, we'll cut these in half. And these are going to be our potato slices. So we'll put those aside, cut this one in half, put that aside. And then we do the other half, same thing. Cut the half in half, and then cut each of these pieces in half again. Take the other piece, cut it in half, and they may not always come out exactly 50-50, but you try to get them as close as you can. I see a little thing in here, so I'm going to cut that out if I can. Actually, it's kind of deep, so I'll just cut this whole end off. And what we just did for the first potato, we'll do for the next two also. So now we have some nice organic potatoes that have been sliced up into wedges. And while we were slicing, I had the oven turned on to about 350, and we'll cook them at 350 on one side. Then we'll switch them, turn them over onto the other side for another about 20 to 30 minutes or so, depending how they cook. And then we'll take them out and they'll be ready to go.